Everyone wants some KFC action. I don't blame them. Tasty. And here we go. We're getting into our next series, into the quarterfinals, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Hardlead, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Maturino Esports. Just look down Lambo, it is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming, or Team Onside. It is Solar. I have to keep reminding myself. I've been saying Onside Gaming for a year, but for those wondering, it's like a small little detail, and I guess it doesn't really matter too much as we're getting into our openers. But Onside Gaming did rebrand. They quote-unquote rebranded, and now they're just called Onside. They got rid of the gaming part. For whatever reason, I don't know why. Maybe they just wanted it to be a little bit cleaner. But as of like a month ago, 2 months ago, they are start of WTL, I think. Start of WTL, basically. They go by just Onside now, and I've been trying to correct myself. Probably doesn't matter too much, but just something that I'm cognizant or aware of whenever I cast like Solar or Maru or Ryung. Bit of a fun fact. But for now, we're just getting into our openers. Hatch gas pull out of Solar. Nothing too crazy. Everything looking normal. Likewise, we have a gate expand out of NightMare, gate expand into the Cyber Core. Everything looking as it should. At least here for the early game. You know, there's here on Hardlead, as we load into our new map, there's no gold base here to tempt Solar into taking, so everything's looking a little bit more standard for the time being. Hardlead does have a very short rush distance by ground, so we have seen a lot of committed aggressive play here on this map. From the side of the Zerg and the Protoss as well, just because of that rush distance. If we were casting Dark, I'd be like 100% we're going to see like a Queen walk across the map and a Roach all in. Solar has done that in the past, but I don't know how willing he is to do it here against NightMare. Talking about the rush distance by ground, NightMare is going to be doubling down here with a Twilight Council opener, which makes sense. No Stargate, Twilight Council is going to be for, I imagine, Glaive Adepts. It could be a Dark Shrine opener as well. And we do have some options. Available here, as Overlord is going to be confirming that Warp Gate wasn't delayed. Robo is on the way. We haven't pulled out a gas, so this is looking like a Dark Shrine opener out of NightMare. But we'll keep our eye on him. Solar back at home, he's just going to be droning, bending out his lings. And my apologies, it is going to be Glaive Adepts, but once again, we haven't pulled out a gas. So I'm curious what this is going to be with. This could be Glaive Adepts, and we could go up to, what, 4, 5, 6 gateways. There could be a Dark Shrine alongside this, but no, we do pull out towards the end here. Never mind. It is going to be only Glaive Adepts. Gateways are on the way, there's no anti-air, and this Overlord should get a scout. There's a Stalker in production, but it shouldn't come out in time, and Solar should get the scout off. And upon seeing those Adepts, we should be seeing either a Baneling Nest or a Roach Horn to respond. As there it is, we see the tech, we see it researching as well, and that is going to be 4 gates in total. And there it is, there's that Roach Horn. So a really good scout from Solar, really good reaction as well. He's able to keep up with whatever NightMare has to throw at him. Links are on the way. And just because Solar has seen the tech and seen the researching, at some point I wouldn't be surprised if we throw down some safety spores as well, just because Dark Templar can be some common follow-ups with this, just to be safe. But now we keep up with the Adepts, and we do force them back. And just trying to be annoying, trying to buy some time here. Buy time for the Roaches to pop out. Solar cutting workers here at 39. 39 drones. How many queens do we have? We're up to 5 queens. Lings, Roaches on the way. And so far, Solar, he's keeping up. He is keeping up. We have our transition. We have pulled back into gas. It's going to be a Robotic Spay. NightMare, he hasn't committed to anything yet. He has preserved his Adepts at least. He's just poking in, clearing up creep, not committing. Again, this isn't an all-in by any means. This should be working. We should be working towards a third base momentarily here for NightMare. But we're doubling down on more adepts. There it is. There's the third. Third now to be taken. Solar, he does go for a big link counterattack. He's looking to delay it. And he will not catch the third. A little bit too early. But at least he confirms it's being taken. So Solar, he knows it's safe to drone. Does end up catching in a Stalker at least. Stalker's going to be going down. We try to bust into the natural, but a rough trade there from Solar. He does, or he's going to be forced to pull back. Behind this, we're droning, taking our gases, working towards a fourth base momentarily as well. And yeah, Solar, he's in a decent position here. I mean, it's hard to say because even though this opener from NightMare hasn't done any damage, this is true, but he also hasn't lost anything. The Adepts are still standing strong. There's still potential to kill workers. Continuing to threaten Shades. At the same time, third base has been spotted, and the Lings, they do dive on it. No shield battery. No shield battery, only one Adept. The Adept is going to be going down, but we do warp in another wave. NightMare, he will hold on. Got Adepts all over the map, and behind this, we have the Disruptors. Warp Prison speed just kicked in, and we can go for some Disruptor drops. I believe Solar saw the Disruptors here at the natural. We have a Spire on the way, which is a really good way to shut down the Prism, to gain control of the map. And NightMare, he's coming together with his entire army. I thought he was going to go for some harass with the Disruptors, but no, he's joining forces here with the Adepts. He's going for the main. At the same time, Lee's going for a counter-stack. Oh! Big Nova goes off. Big connection on the Roaches. Likewise, once again, takes down the Lings, takes down the Roaches. The Adepts, they go ham on the Queens. 12 workers are going down. We have Adepts here at the third base, and Solar, he doesn't respond. A late reaction, more workers going down. And these Adepts, we warp them in at the start of the game, and finally they pay off. They get 21 drones. In one fell swoop, the Adepts, they're getting out of control. And the Disruptors are still alive as well. GG gets called, it's just too much. And NightMare takes game number 1. GG. Oh my god. Again, it was one of those things where, sure, initially Solar, he had deflected the Adepts and he was, you know, in a good economic position. He was stabilizing. He was in a good place. But the Adepts were still alive and they can still threaten those mineral lines. And all it takes is one shade. All it takes is one wrong moment where you're unable to keep up with them and your entire mineral line can be gone in a matter of seconds. Oh, GG. And just like that, NightMare, he takes a lead. And he is one game away here from advancing on to the semifinals. And to be fair, it wasn't just the Adepts wreaking havoc in the mineral line. We saw some big purification overs as well. The Disruptors, they were saved. They were kept alive. NightMare just pulling Solar apart. And again, it was a really risky maneuver. You know, Adepts, they don't really scale too well into the mid-game. If Solar was allowed to stabilize and get a fourth up and running, then NightMare would have been in a lot of trouble. But alas, he did take it in the end. And now we're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkyone, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Majorino Esports popping off with those Adepts in game 1. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside. Team Onside. It is Solar. It feels weird just saying Onside. Just feels weird. Getting into game. Here we go. Game 2 is upon us. Once again, NightMare going for a gate expand setup here. Oh, doesn't quite get the block though. Solar will be able to get his natural. We'll have a much more secure start here to game number 2. We'll have a much more stable beginning. And we'll see where this takes us. Again, we're loading into a larger map. We mentioned earlier that hard lead lends to a lot of aggression because of the short rush distance by ground. But here, this is the polar opposite. Alcyone leads to the mid game, to the late game. We've seen a lot of split map scenarios on this map. So I expect NightMare to go for a Stargate opener instead, but we'll see. We'll see where he takes us. Now just going to be scouting the main, confirming what Solar is up to. Making sure that everything is on the up and up and there's no faster tech or faster gases. And of course, delaying or trying to disrupt the economy as best he can. But yeah, NightMare, he has beaten Solar in the past. We were lucky enough to cast the GSL qualifiers a month ago, and NightMare actually qualified for GSL beating Solar as well. Like, bear that in mind. Even though Solar is hot right now, even though he is one of the best Zerg players in Korea, NightMare can punch up and has done so in the past. Not the first time he's beaten Solar, not the last. So we'll see if he can do it again. We'll see if Solar can keep up with the aggressive nature of NightMare. As we have our tech of choice, it is going to be a Stargate. Stargate opener out of NightMare. Again, makes plenty of sense. Again, there's a lot of bases on this map. Rush distance is longer. Going for a much more standard opener now. Just because it's a Stargate doesn't mean it has to be standard and macro play. This can lead into a more aggressive style, of course, as well. Depending on what the follow-up is. As for now, Solar, he's just going to be taking his third base, droning on up, saturating his bases, and waiting for what his opponent brings to the table. Stargate first into Oracle. If you remember, against Lambo, NightMare did go Void Ray first on Oceanborn. This time, Oracle looking for some economic damage, looking to keep Solar busy back at home, which should lead into a third base. Calm down. Chat's getting rowdy. As interesting. Okay, we have an Oracle first into a Phoenix. Not a second Oracle and not a Void Ray. Phoenix, of course, is going to be shutting down the Overlord, is going to be denying scouting information. Third base is being taken. But the question becomes, what comes after the Phoenix? What are we hiding, if anything? From here, NightMare can get into a standard game, or he can throw down the Twilight Council and go for Glaive Adepts again. Which I wouldn't be too fond of on this map. One drone goes down. There's that Twilight Council. And the longer this goes without NightMare throwing down a Forge, the more this looks like Glaive Adepts. And there we go. Forge is thrown down as well. Everything looking as it should. But Solar doesn't know that. Solar, there's a lot of pressure on him. He's down in the series. So really the onus is on Solar to scout and recognize what exactly NightMare is doing. Things come in, they go for the pylon. Are they gonna be able to get it as well? Warp in a little bit. Oh my god, a little bit too late, but the Adepts, they get here just in time. Forcing back those Lings. Well, the Phoenix still sharking around. Oracle racing back home. It was only a single Oracle, so we're going to be cutting some corners. We're going to be preserving gas, essentially. Instead of going up to triple Oracle, we're trying to get into +1 and Blink and our transition that much faster. Adept is being forced back. Again, so far everything's looking normal. We saw against Lambo that NightMare doubled down and he just essentially went all in on this map with that proxy gateway up to 8 gates. So we'll keep our eye on the gateway count. We'll keep our eye on NightMare if he looks to do the same. For now, threatening shades. Oh, he does commit! Uh-oh. A bit of a misstep here. He commits to the shade. He gets surrounded and every single Adept is going to go down. Just misjudging the situation. And that is a big blow to NightMare. Back at home. Yeah, he's throwing that safe trap. Cannons are on the way. NightMare, he does lose map control. Now he's going to try and fortify himself. We have a robotic spay in production for Colossus. Bit of a gateway explosion as well. That's going to be 8 gates in total. We are taking all of our gases. And likewise, NightMare, he's just trying to scout his opponent. Upon killing all those adepts, Solar, he now knows that he's free to drone. He's droning, taking a 4th, saturating his bases. He knows that he shouldn't die anytime soon, and he's going to be able to be a little bit greedier as a result. Solo looking for a would-be 4th. Prism is on the way. Remember, we have gone up to 8 gates. Wait, am I crazy? Yeah. 6 in the main, 2 at the natural. Colossus is on the way. We do have a second robo in production for double Colossus production. Oracle does get a couple of workers. Wait. There's no spore in the main. Oh my god, we're gonna get even more drones. The Phoenix just locking down the Queen. We're up to 8, 9 worker kills before the Oracle runs out of energy. Gets the hell out of there. Oh no, Queen's in position. Not too bad, as Solar is gonna be pushing out. Busting through these rocks. He's drawn up to 80 at this point. Oh my god, despite losing all those workers, Solar, he has a solid economy. Up to 80 workers. Now we can double down on Ling and Bane, Roach, Ravager. He's looking to max out, looking to power through and try to break this 3rd base location. NightMare gonna have to take a defensive stance. He has 1 Colossus, soon to be 2. Does have 2 Robos, but he's not quite producing from both of them. But again, pushing out here would be a misstep from NightMare. He has to defend the first wave first. Take a good trade before pushing out. 4th base on the way. NightMare, they're going to be pushing out. Oh my god. Solar. Stuck attacking those rocks. Takes a lot of hits. A bit of a miscontrol from Solar as well. I mean, he did get the rocks, but did cost him a lot of lings. Solar will retreat. Additional Colossi are on the way. From here, we can get into Immortals or Disruptor production. NightMare is pushing. Bold move. Again, Solar, he's done droning. At this point, he's just doubling down on maxing out. Hive is on the way for Vipers. Like, NightMare, he's in a really rough position. If he stays at home, then he's just going to allow Solar to get into Viper production. If he pushes out, I mean, he's pushing into a max out army. It's going to be all about the fight, all about the control, the positioning, and here we go. So far, the Baneling's stuck behind the Roaches. Lottling Bane is going to go down. Solo coming in for a surround. But the Colossi, they're getting so much done. Good blinks here from the Stalkers. The Colossi, they pull back, and we're running out of Ling Bane. Now only Roaches do remain, and NightMare, he can keep on pushing. At the same time, we do have a Ling counterattack, but there are depths back at home to defend. NightMare, he pulls back for a moment. Oh, and in doing so, he does give Solar enough time to rebuild his Ling Bane army. He remaxes. That was a good fight. That was a good fight for NightMare. He traded well, kept all of his Colossi alive, but he doesn't punish this gold. And Solar has gone into Vipers. How many? 2. 2 Vipers. They still need a little bit more energy. They can abduct, I believe. And we're pushing out. So far, good blinks here from these Stalkers, retreating back to the safety of the Colossi. Solar has to back off. Again, we're going to be heavily reliant on these Vipers. We need to avoid the Stalkers. As the Colossi have arrived, here come the Yoinks! We dropped up 2. 2 Colossi are going to go down. There's no more Prism. They cannot be saved. The Prism a little bit idle behind the army. Big storms. Oof, the storms arrived just in time. That was a good trade for the Zerg, though, killing those 2 Colossus. Again, if the Prism was a little bit farther forward, we could have maybe saved them. But they did go down. And Solar just has to keep doing the same thing over and over again. He saved his Vipers, so we just gather up energy. We have to back off, remax with more Ling Bane. And we have to crash in again and again and again. And thankfully, throughout all of this, Solar he's teching. We have a Lurker Den on the way. Soon to be Lurker upgrades. Hydra Lurker Viper on the horizon. Solar is pushing. Meanwhile, NightMare is stuck at home. We do have a Baneling run by. Does not connect. Good reactions out of NightMare. But again, NightMare, he's just stuck at home. He has to weather the storm, absorb the blows here of his opponent before breaking free. He isn't getting into disruptors, but he does have a decent amount of storms. Here we go. He pushes forward, taking another base. Other Vipers. Phoenix does go down. Solar overextending a little bit. But at the same time, he goes for a big counterattack. Baneling's going to look at it, crash into the natural. The overcharge is not good enough, and we do bust into the natural base. Do we have a recall? We break into the natural. NightMare out of position. And probes are going to go down. Or at least they should. At somewhere. There we go. 18, 19 workers go down. The Stalkers, they do eventually clean this up, but that's 27 probes. Oh my god. NightMare being pulled apart. His economy now in shambles. He still has a decent army, but Solar, he can just rebuild. This time with Lurkers. And this would have been the opportunity for NightMare to take this goal base and start transitioning into Skytoss. Without Skytoss, pushing into Lurkers is just such a difficult thing to do. How many Lurkers? It's 9. 9 Lurkers are out for Solar. And this isn't really the kind of army that can break through that. So we don't have any Immortals, no Disruptors. We'll see if NightMare can pull off a miracle. Yeah, Lurkers, they have been revealed. At the same time, another run by. Storm just going to be tickling those Lurkers. Another big Ling Ravager run by, and we are forced to recall back home. Ay, ay, ay. Solar buying so much time here. Big storms, we do catch the Ravagers. But Solar is just refining his army, making more Lurkers. The armies are maxed, don't get me wrong, but I would say that Solar has the more efficient army currently. We'll see if NightMare can outposition Solar. Lurkers have been spotted, Vipers as well. NightMare, he's aware of the movements. Another run by. They don't stop. And the army's exposed. Trying to catch some of these High Templar. One High Templar goes down. A second High Templar and a third as well. Good pickoffs here from Solar. Every High Templar is valuable. We yoink a Colossus. No, losing the Vipers in the process. Not the best trade here from Solar. But at the same time, we have a Ling counterattack. The natural base has been defended. NightMare, he's holding. Additional Lurkers in production. I'm a little bit concerned that Solar, he's maxed out and he hasn't rebuilt his Vipers. He only has one. Oh, no shield battery. The Archons making their way back home. The Lings, they bust into the natural once again. At the same time, Solar pushing towards that goal base. Bit of miscontrol there from NightMare. Does lose a big chunk of his army. Yeah, Solar, he's just continuing to push on forward. Laying siege upon the gold. Banelings roll in. And they're going for the mineral line. Ooh, they crash in. 19 workers go down. The goal base is compromised. And NightMare, he's just being pulled apart completely. He cannot engage. He cannot push into these Lurkers. It's just not happening. He cannot push forward. Not with the ground toss army. Not like this. Does catch a couple of Lurkers. Fleet Beacon is on the way, but this is too little too late. Far too late here for NightMare. We did need that Sky Toss far sooner. And Solar, he's just picking this army apart. We'll lose a Viper though, and big storms. Oh my god. Where's the support? Massive storms here on the lurkers. Big pickoffs. NightMare, he's going for a counterattack, but Solar, he's remaxing back at home. Did lose a big chunk of his army. This is the moment for NightMare. If he can somehow break through this last line of defense, he can maybe snowball. Oh, the High Templar. Decent storms. We're down to 3-4 High Templar left. Or just a handful of them. A big Link counterattack. We take down the Mineral Line. The economy of NightMare is non-existent. There's no turning back around. It's all or nothing. He knows it. And even killing this one hatchery isn't going to be enough. He goes for a Zealot run-by. Distracts the reinforcements. Decent storms. Really good storms, actually. Does take down the base. With Solar, he still has a solid economy behind this. He has a line of lurkers. He feels like he has the freedom to go for another big counterattack. It's just been a slow death here for NightMare. Does have a wall. No, not even. Barely doesn't have a wall. And Solar, he just goes straight for the Fleet Beacon as well. There was like a slither of hope by maybe getting into like a mothership and some carriers or something crazy, but no, the Fleet Beacon goes down. There will not be a mothership. No Sky Toss. And NightMare is now on his last legs. Solar fighting back. Again, get this man into the mid game, get him into a late game, and Solar, he can pop off. Looking to tie up this series. The lurkers, they do edge on ever closer. How many High Templar do we have? 7! Oh my god. It's a lot of storms. It's a lot of High Templar. As good control here out of NightMare. He's actually picking up a couple of these lurkers. Impressive. Do we have any Vipers? One Viper here. Without Vipers, it does make it awkward for Solar to try to engage. You can see that NightMare is just outranging him and getting a lot of value, actually. We're just getting lurkers for free. Oh my god. Good trades. I was curious as to why. If I'm not mistaken, we do not have lurker range, by the way. We have adaptive talents, we have the hive, we don't have lurker range. Unless I'm blind. But yeah, it's not there. Ay. So NightMare, you know, doing well for himself overall, but his opponent is still maxed out, still trading well enough. We get the yoinks. Get an Archon. The storms do continue. Like, again, NightMare trading surprisingly well, but no! The High Templar! Oh my god. Did overextend for a moment. The Link Bane crashes into the Zealots as well, busting into the main base for, what, the 5th time at this point. And again, these may not be efficient trades from Solar, but it's good enough. As the Links wreak havoc in the main base, we're rotating over towards the non-existent 4th. Spine shots going off once again. But yeah, again, I see someone asking in chat. There's no lurker range. Like we haven't researched. We forgot, Pappy. We forgot. No, the Viper. But Solar doesn't have the Hive Tech upgrade, unfortunately. He does have the adaptive talents, which means he can borrow them faster. But yeah, a bit of an oversight. Would have made things a lot easier if he had it. Unfortunately, that's why the Colossus have been able to trade so well. Usually Colossus don't do this well against lurkers. Yeah, they usually struggle a lot more, but yeah, it's okay. It's fine. I mean, that shouldn't cost Solar the game. It shouldn't, but we'll see. There we go. Lings, they do go for a bit of a counterattack. Oh, do take a storm to the face, though. Nah, Funada Nish. Why are you trolling, Nish? Why are you trolling? Is this live? Is this stream live? Is this a rerun? Rerun confirmed? Shaking my head. You're an animal. You're an animal. Here we go. As we're collapsing on the army, pushing forward here with the lurkers. Oh my god. Again, NightMare, he's been trading well with his army. Good storms, zoning him back. But the goal base is denied. And at some point, Solar, he's just going to have to ape in. It's not going to be pretty when he does, but he has to. And here we go. We're pushing forward. And eventually, we're going to run out of storms. I think this is that moment. No storms left. We're breaking on through. Archons are going down. There's only one left. Second joins the fray. As we collapse on this, and it looks like finally Solar here has broken the main army. He takes down the Colossus, even without lurker range. Who needs it? GG gets called, and Solar will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played. We're going to the ace match. Oh god, and that was again, that was an interesting one. Yeah, NightMare, he was just late to tech up. He was stuck on a mid-tier army, stuck on a ground toss army, while Soul was able to just wreak havoc and just skyrocket ahead, get into Hydra Lurker Viper. Even without Lurker range, it was fine. You know, he was far enough ahead where he can afford to trade inefficiently. And it was impressive that NightMare was able to trade as well as he did for so long. But it was still an uphill battle, and he still didn't have an economy. He didn't have an economy to sustain himself, to keep up with the army of Solar. With that, GG gets called. We get a game 3. We are going all the way. Oh boy. And our players, they did need a moment here, and I don't blame them. As game 3 is going to be taking place on Oceanborn. Let's go. You can hear the beeps. We're loading on into the final game of this series. As a reminder, I believe Hero is waiting for the winner of this series in the semi-finals for either Solar or NightMare, Zerg or Protoss. Here we go. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Maturino Esports. It is NightMare. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Team Onside. It is Solar. And as we get into this, a big shout out to Base Habit in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session as well. Welcome everyone, welcome to the quarterfinals of this week's KungFu Cup. This is a weekly tournament with a massive prize pool. It brings together players from all around the world. We had Clem, we had Maxpax, Oliveira, Hero, NightMare, Solar. They're all still in this tournament, but there can be only one champion this week, as it usually is in these tournaments. And we're here to determine who makes it through, who advances on at least to the semifinals. It all comes down to this final game of the series, to Oceanborn. And again, I still stand by what I said earlier. I do think that NightMare, he thrives in the mid game. If the game does progress any longer, like, things can get a little bit more uncomfortable for him, and his transitions into Skytoss can be a little bit delayed. So I imagine he's looking to ramp up the aggression a little bit earlier on here on Oceanborn. We'll see if he can. Rush distance by ground is shorter on this map compared to Alcyone. So the map is going to help him a little bit more here. But we'll see. So far, Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener out of Solar, likewise, Gate Expand into the Cyber Core. Standard openers all around. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. Now, I imagine we're still going to see a Stargate opener from NightMare. But that pylon is thrown down a little bit closer to the mineral line, so it could be a Twilight Council opener. We'll see. Again, you don't need a Twilight Council to be aggressive. Like, you can go Stargate into a Twilight Council afterwards as well. There it is, Stargate opener out of NightMare. This should be leading into a third base, and then from the third, we'll see what kind of direction we take. On top of that, I'm assuming that NightMare is going to be making an Oracle, but he could go for a Void Ray instead. He could go for a Void Ray, shut down the Overlords, keep Solar in the dark, and take a bit of a different path instead. For now, Solar just going to be droning on up, taking his third base, spreading his creep. Does have that one Overlord out on the map. But the rally is also across the map as well, so this should be an Oracle first out of NightMare. As there it is, we have that Oracle on the way. Designed to get scouting information and to get some economic damage done as well. Important to bear in mind that here on Oceanborn, Solar also has the option to be aggressive himself. He can cut workers at 3 base saturation and just double down on roaches. It is possible, it is an option. It is all possible here on Oceanborn. As the Oracle moves out, it's going to be spotted by the Overlord. Solar, he sees, he knows, he's aware. He should be getting ready with his queens. Looking at the units, we have a decent unit count here. We have 2 queens here at the main, 2 queens at the natural. Spore is on the way. Solar, he's in position. He shouldn't lose too much at all to this first Oracle. As he does zone it away. Second Oracle in production, third base being taken. Really, my eyes are on what comes next, tech-wise, for NightMare. Ooh, as the Oracle does sustain some hull damage, is forced back. And so far, no damage is done. There it is, we have a Twilight Council and a Forge. This is just like the previous game. This should be for +1 and a Blink. So far, standard play out of NightMare. Everything is looking normal. Oh, the Stalker does overextend, though. We dive on in. Stalker goes down. Big pick off there from Solar. Trading minerals for a gas. Oh no! The Oracle overextends and barely escapes. On 3 HP, not a single kill on this Oracle. NightMare overextending. He wants another Overlord, but the Lings are here to punish him, and another Stalker goes down. Ay, ay, ay. It may not look like much, but these units this early on, it's a pretty big deal. It's that much less to defend this third base. That much less for map control. Nice pickoffs here so far from Solar. He's not done. he wants another Stalker, Papi. He's already got 2. He wants a third. He's gonna get it as well. He gets a surround. He's gonna get a third Stalker. Oh my god. The trades. 10 Lings for 3 Stalkers. Very nicely done. We have more Lings on the way. Behind this, we're just droning. Solar, he's like, I dare you. Try to kill this Overlord. Try to move out. See what's gonna happen. You're gonna lose another Stalker. Behind this, Heroic's Bay in production. Should be into Colossus once again. Stalkers move out. This time, NightMare should be okay. Yeah, he has enough Stalkers and Oracles as well. Solar is forced back. Behind this, we're just going to be droning. Lings are keeping the attention of the Stalkers busy as we go for an Overseer Scout. +1 melee's on the way. Roach Warren, Roach Speed. Looks to be Lingbane, Roach Ravager. Pretty standard mid-game composition here from Solar. It's what we saw in Game 2 as well. Oh, as NightMare is going for a tech-heavy composition, that is a second Robo. He's going to be going for a double Robo Colossus production. This should lead into a 4th base. Fun fact, this is the same way he was playing against Lambo on Oceanborn as well. Very similar playstyle. So very tech heavy, very defensive. Means that NightMare for the most part is giving up map control, and Solar should be free to drone in tech. And there it is. Infestation bits on the way, 4th base is getting saturated, 5th hatchery in production as well. NightMare, he is pushing out, but again, he's transitioning back at home. This is just designed to deny creep, to poke forward, shouldn't commit. As he moves out, Solar moves in. Looking for the 4th base. Catching a Stalker. One Stalker's going to be going down. The Colossi haven't been revealed yet. Hive is already on the way, so with this fast Hive, Solar gains access to fast Vipers. Vipers are going to be on the way. That's going to be a lot of Colossi. We should be going up towards 4 Colossi, and that's going to be a big power spike for NightMare. He's going to be looking to hit a strong timing with those 4 Colossus. The Overseer does confirm it. Does he? NightMare, he's getting ready for his push. But as he gets ready to move out, once again, Solar goes for a big run by 4th base. Is going to be cancelled. Oof. Again, this is why I assumed that NightMare would be taking more defensive position, but he was a little bit too cavalier, a little bit too adventurous with his army positioning, and he might even get surrounded here. Solar, he's close to maxing out with just Ling Roach. No Banelings, no Ravagers. It's a pure Ling Roach army. He's going for the surround, but the Colossi appear just in time. And we have to respect the Colossus until the Vipers come out. We have to respect this army, but Vipers are on the way again. Solar, upon recognizing how tech-heavy NightMare was being, he just rushed into the Hive, rushed into Vipers, and they're going to come out just in time. Otherwise, this push would be terrifying. Bathing Speed still in the way. Hydra Den, soon to be Lurker Den, and Hydra Lurker Viper. That's the tech. That's the army composition that Solar's working towards. Until then, he does have to be careful. The Vipers, they have spawned in, but they need a little bit of time to gather energy. We're going for another run by. No, the 4th base! NightMare, he's just wanted this 4th for so long. And here we go, the Vipers, they have arrived. 2 Colossus get yoinked, and they go down instantly. There's 1 Colossus left. The Bailey's, they crash on forward. They take down so many of these Stalkers. But that 1 Colossus puts in a lot of work, and NightMare, he can keep this going. Meanwhile, across the map, the 4th base is going down. But NightMare, we gotta keep pushing. We gotta keep this up. As he's forcing his way into the natural, Banelings are still in production. Queens are brought to the table. Another yoink. The Colossus is gonna go down. Only Stalkers remain. Only Stalkers are left, and Solar, he looks like he has enough. He crashes on forward. Does he, though? He's running out of roaches. He's running out of steam. Lings are going down. The Vipers as well. NightMare, can he barely break through? He's getting on top of the Queens. The Queens are going down one after the other, but we still have 20 Lings in production. This army, it's battered, it's bruised. It's going down. Solar, he cleans NightMare up, and NightMare was completely all in. No 4th base. I mean, he had a 4th. Not anymore. Only Stalkers remain. And there's just nothing else in the production tab. No more Colossi, no Disruptors, no War Prism. Only Stalkers. And Solar, he has weathered the storm. He's made it. He survived. And now, Lunkers. We have the Lurker Den on the way, Hydra upgrades, additional Vipers. He's getting to his ideal composition of Hydra Lurker Viper. And NightMare, he's stuck on a 3-base economy. Stuck here with barely anything left. And there's a world where if Solar wasn't taking up in this direction, if he wasn't already working towards Lurkers, then maybe NightMare could find another timing here with another 2 Colossus, but Solar, he's been on top of it. He's been on top of his tech, on top of his army. Is moving out. Stasis Trap's going to be going off. Bailings, they do crash on forward. Big yoinks here on another Colossus. It goes down. There's only one left. As we make our way into the mineral line. Another yoink, but there's no follow-up here. Looks like NightMare, he should be able to hold on. Solar trickling on in. Yeah, he does have to retreat. Has to back off. A good hold, as long as he doesn't lose his Colossus. Good hold here from NightMare. Now going for a counterattack, but he has a lot of creep to go through. A lot of creep here out in the center of the map. And he doesn't care, he's pushing. Oh my god. Lurkers are still in production. Hydras are on the way. NightMare pushing deep onto creep here. Stasis Trap being thrown down. Oh, does go for the Bailings. Big connection on the Bailings, but the Lurkers have arrived. We can focus on the Colossus as well. He wants it, he gets it. The Colossi falls. And that's all that NightMare had left. His hopes and dreams were in the Colossus, and now he's being forced back. This time he's up against Lurkers. And with purely a Stalker army, it's not going to be good enough. NightMare, he did well for himself, making it to the ace match, but GG gets called, and Solar will take the series 2-1, advancing on to the semifinals. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Solar as he does take down NightMare. Things were looking dire, especially after game 1. Things were not looking too good for Solar, but he does fight back. He does bounce back. Takes it in the end. Again, really good performance here. Correctly identifying how tech-heavy NightMare was going to be and rushing into that hive. Imagine a world where he didn't have those Vipers in time. Where the push came with, what was it, 3 Colossi with a massive Stalker army. The only reason why Solar was able to handle it as well as he did was because of those Vipers. And yeah, the abductions were on point. Was able to shut down the army. Not just that, but also counterattack and shut down the 4th base at the same time as well. GG, well played. And yeah, with that, Solar does advance on. NightMare, his tournament run has ended.